Ladies and gentlemen, today's the day we dig into the 67 Amazon. This is our 1967 Volvo 122S, aka Amazon. We bought this car just over a year ago from a farm about an hour away. It's sat in the woods there for 35 years. It runs, it drives, kinda. Transmission needs parts, things, you know. I broke it is what I'm saying. Today, as you know by the title, is airbag stuff. Yeah, I know the mounts are powder coated. I do have to take some of the powder coat off so I can weld everything into the A-arms and the spring perches, but we'll figure that out. I've never done this. It's gonna be a learning process. Let's get into it. Here's our pile of parts, airbag stuff and whatnots. All that's gonna go in there. Once we, get the car up and the wheel off, and I gotta do the same thing, up and the wheel off. You know the deal. Good enough for government work. Those wheel bearings that we re-greased seem to be doing all right, even though they were the ones that were on the car originally. So 35 years in the woods, still going strong, can't complain. Time. Looks like our plug weld isn't holding up on our caliper there. Guess we'll have to make some repairs to that, I suppose. Now that we've got our eyes in here, looks like a guy could use some ball joints, upper and lower. The control arm is very, very dirty. All of it has to get cleaned up so we can, weld the pocket on the bottom of that. I gotta figure out how it's gonna sit in the top. Let's get it apart. Thank you, Jason Schaefer. Something like that. This hardware is all standard, definitely not metric. This is not a 13mm socket. Oh, okay, there's a guy in there we gotta get to. One of us is in the way. I'm pretty sure it's you. Looks like you gotta move. Sorry, friend. If I were smart, I'd just use the impact for this, Never said I was a smart man, though. It's spinning on the bottom. We're gonna remove the control arms. Loosening up the ball joint right now. It might be more work to undo the ball joint. Ball joint separated out of the other control arm. We need to take the whole thing out. It is in bad shape. Lower ball joint also in bad shape. Just in general, everything's terrible. And I did forget about the brake line and creased it. So now we need a brake line. So it looks like it's gonna get rather expensive, but it is needed. And you can see in there, the rest of the control arm, it's very dirty. I think I'm just gonna pull it out. I have bushings for the control arm. Look, I used my pickle fork for what it's actually used for. Separating ball joints. Cool, like it's off. What an incredible amount of work that was. Well, it's all out. Yeah, I have bushings. Everything's dirty. It all needs cleaning. Came out nice and easy. I don't know why I just did that. Comment down below if you're compelled to fill holes. Also, shout out to KYB. These are still good. It's unfortunate that I have to relocate them and or ditch them altogether. It's cool that those are good shocks because, a guy can use them. Great news, everyone. Control arms disassembled. Except for the lower strut plate. I need to do some cleaning up before I can get that apart because this is caked. Also, fun note, when I was taking the strut off, this was around the bottom of the strut with string on it. What that is when these struts were brand new and put on the car, the struts are compressed fully and the springs on them. And what you do is you get the spring inside the strut, fully compressed, set it in the control arm, and then hold the control arm up, get it bolted together, and then cut the string, and then you're good to go. Easy day. Okay, so this is not coming off at all. I'm gonna have to scrape it, and my phone's getting a mess, so I'm gonna put the phone away and just keep working at it. This thing is looking like a whole new control arm. Still dirty. This stuff is a nightmare to get out of here. It's all Georgia clay and oil. Yeah, so fix your oil leaks, people, and don't drive on dirt roads. And wash your car once in a while. It took me about 2 hours to get clean, including taking off the car. We still have a whole nother side to do. So, yeah. You'll have to excuse me for the lack of an update and not including you. We got problems. Cheap kit, doesn't fit, wrong sizes. Let me explain. So your airbag sits on a plate, right? We understand that. Has to sit on something. When the airbag compresses, when the airbag compresses, it gets wider a little bit. So you have to make sure you have space for your airbag to compress. So you can't sit the airbag all the way down into the bottom, which maybe we could on that. I don't like it. That looks like it's hitting already. Yeah. Wouldn't want to do that. But I'll explain further as to why we're having an issue. The issue is this cup here. All of my mounting cups are the same size, and well, they're too big to fit inside the upper spring perch. So you need to have proper standoff so that when that's sitting in there, this can sit on top to clear all your goods, right? And that should work fine. Problem is, this isn't tall enough, and I don't have one that's tall enough. And if we can't clear that angled side, you're gonna wear a hole in your bag. And believe it or not, if you get a hole in the airbag, it's gonna deflate, and then you can't drive the car anywhere, which isn't a good thing. The bag needs to have a mount here, and right now it's just shoved in the pocket, and the diameter of the bag is too big to fit in the pocket. And I can't just weld a plate on there because I have to access the top of the bag, and I can't just use our existing spacers because they don't fit. Whoops, that's good for the paint. Can't just weld those in because they don't fit in the hole. Not to mention, I need that's 4 inches of space right there, because I got to clear this because I don't need the bag to make contact with that. I guess I could notch it a little bit to get some space, but oh yeah, I put new bushings on the control arms. Hopped on the old internet and I got cruising on the face space, and wanted you know there's a bag spacer kit for a truck about 10 minutes from here. I think it's probably 5 minutes. Message the guy, send him a bunch of questions, look at the seller name, and it's my good friend Chris Rigby. We've been to his house before. Let's go back there and steal the bags off his table, because he's on a vacation right now. So we're gonna go raid his candy dish and pet his dogs and steal his random truck parts that he has. Let's go. This is a bag spacer kit. I don't know if it's gonna work. but we'll see what we can do with it. So we got our 4-inch spacer. We do need to put another mount under here for that to be correct. But for now, see, even that's way too much. Yeah, I think that's too much. These bags are too big. I'm just gonna say it now. If you're trying to do an Amazon, get 5-inch diameter bags. These ones, I think they're 6 or 7 inch. I know the plates. These plates are 6 inches. So much for that idea. I think that's about it for the old girl. I don't have words right now. I'm a little annoyed, and what are you gonna do? I never verified the bag diameter with the owner of the kit. It was sold as a kit for an Amazon. I don't know if by that they meant they bought the stuff for their Amazon, not that the kit was originally for an Amazon. I don't know. Where we're at now is we have a car that's torn apart. It needs transmission work. I have a bunch of suspension parts to replace. And 2 months from now, I have to drive this car 3 hours away to a meet. It's my intent. It's the goal. So I think that it's important to remember that this car, I want to drive it. I've got springs. I can order all the suspension parts to do the bushings, the ball joints, control arms, all the things. And I can just drive the car. And we can revisit airbags in the future. I'm not saying we're never going to do it. But I think as far as right now, we're going to put this car back together so that it's drivable. Order up some parts. Upper, lower ball joint. I've got control arm bushings. Should do the tie rod ends, but I'm not gonna, because I should do the tie rod ends. And then I gotta clean the brakes up. The brakes need a little work too. So I think we got our work cut out for us for the next few episodes. So check back next week. Let's see what we get into, and how about you get in your garage and you fix something, huh?